We were watching, I think it was like these weird underground like Russian Fight Club videos. I would show them on the frame by frame and say like, if somebody hits, and you could see that it doesn't go like this, right? It goes and then stops and then kind of glances off, the body goes, and then they kind of swipe back through.
This is Cory Barlog, the director of God of War. He's talking about designing the game's combat, a process that took years.
And what I was looking for was this feeling of when there's actual contact, the whole body changes. Like, not only does it feel you hit, but it feels like it sticks for a second and then passes through.
Anyone who's enjoyed an action game knows the way that combat feels is so important. Combat can feel meaty, or it can feel weightless and inconsequential. Sometimes that's fun, but it would be incongruous with the Leviathan axe, Kratos' massive weapon. Using a heavy weapon like an axe generally shouldn't feel the same as, say, using a dagger. Game designers use a combination of speed, visual cues, sound effects, and controller rumble to drastically change the way that combat feels and makes you feel. And if there's one thing to say about Kratos' axe in God of War, it's that it feels good. Kratos grunts and roars when he swings the axe. The controller rumbles. And of course, enemies fairly explode when Kratos kills them. But there are some more subtle animation strategies at play that really make the Leviathan axe feel special.
Let's ground ourselves. Let's see if we can get the axe to feel heavy and weighted and feel like it sticks.
So, how did they do it? The most common method for making melee combat feel impactful is called a hit stop. You see this tactic a lot in fighting games. Here's hit stop as defined by Masahiro Sakurai, creator of the Super Smash Bros. Series. When a player strikes an opponent, both parties momentarily freeze. In high-speed fighting games like Super Smash Bros., having a hit stop communicates to the player that the collision actually happened. The action stops. We register the hit. And in a sea of fast-moving shapes and colors, that momentary pause makes a big impact. God of War doesn't use a traditional hit stop, but it does have something similar.
And one thing that always bugged me about all combat games is everybody plays the same animation. So if you hit somebody or if you don't hit somebody, you just do this swipe, and then what we do is the trick of a hit pause. And it makes it feel like that move hit somebody. But it's the same move every time. You hit or you don't hit, you see the same thing.
Programmer George Mall designed with a team called Axe Sticking Technology using inverse kinematics. When Kratos hits an enemy, the axe freezes. Hold up, let's let Cory explain that.
What it's doing is using the skeleton all the way down and allowing you to have either a fixed point or move that fixed point and then have the rest of the joints move. Inverse kinematics would basically allow me to grab this point and then move it any way that I can so that you can actually attach to something and then move the body around.
Visualize it like this. There's a sphere on the end of Kratos' axe. Every enemy is covered in spheres. When these spheres come into contact, a collision is detected.
Every time you'd hit a point of detection, the IK would take over on the arm and the upper body so that you'd actually have a legitimate stopping point, but it would detect where it needed to be and hold it there as Kratos would continue sort of the sweep through, and then after a set point you can unstick and he'll swipe through like on that. But you'll still get a little bit of the animation will continue and he swipes through. But it gave us that sensation of this axe feeling weighted.
Animation techniques like this are also why the axe feels meaty, even after it leaves your hands. When the Leviathan axe hits an enemy, it momentarily freezes them or knocks them back. It's a response that gives the player a visual sense of the axe's power. The weight of the axe is reiterated in the way it returns to Kratos' hand.
Traditionally, when you're doing animation, you have a character that's going to go pick something up. You want that smooth, I've grabbed the cup and I pick it up.
But with the Leviathan axe, animators didn't want it to feel smooth. The animators actually removed frames of the axe's flight trajectory to make the impact feel sudden when it hits Kratos' hand with an audible snap.
It almost accelerates faster when it gets back into his hand. And I think a lot of it does base on that feeling of, oh, that is just very weighty.
These animations go a long way toward making the axe feel tangible and powerful and satisfying to use. And combined with the game's audio and other visual effects, we're served a cocktail of sight and sound with every swing or throw of the axe. With one press of a button, the player sets off a series of complex simulations, and the result feels good. I want to hear from y'all in the comments about other game mechanics that you used for the first time and thought, oh, holy crap, that feels so good. So leave those comments below and make sure that you subscribe to this channel because I will definitely be doing more episodes of this, and I really hope that y'all enjoy them.